So throughout Servant's 3.5 seasons on the air, we've got mysteries, secrets, supernatural occurrences happening all over the place. But what we have never gotten, at least in my eyes, we have never gotten a proper kind of answer. No reveals and revelations that you can in concrete go, look, here is the answer. There can be no other solution or answer. Like this, you had a question? Here's your answer. Like, we've had so many mystery boxes, but no box has been opened and asked to look inside the box and go, it is definitively this. There have been heaps of little kind of mild implications, and at times things that are heavily implied. And there are things that I think just viewer to viewer, we can see and go, well, this definitely means this, regardless whether or not they have actually like confirmed it in the show. There's been enough implications or enough kind of signs and hints that you go, that means this, but this episode changes everything. I was genuinely taken aback by the first 10 minutes of this episode because it was just like people saying things that they've never said before, things happening and just reveals and moments of people just being like, this is what this means. And I was just sitting there being like, I can't believe it. We are finally getting answers to questions. And just in true mystery TV show style, they finally answered some questions. And now I have so many more questions. Just so many more questions. Oh my god. Okay, so let's break down this reveal, this question that is now answered. And what I am referring to is Leanne's drawings. So it had always been kind of, as I've said, heavily implied that she draws the things and then they happen. But the show has never had anyone say, Leanne, look at these drawings. What's up with these drawings? And she's like, well, I'm a witch. It's supernatural powers. I've had supernatural powers the whole time. We never get that scene. Until today. She just starts wandering through her hobo park cult and just starts handing out pieces of paper being like, all you need to do is just believe. Just believe. She's just handing out paper and pencils to everybody. And so essentially they reveal that yes, she's magic. Yes, the paper is some kind of conduit for her to kind of, get the things she wants in life, to make things happen magically and supernaturally or voodoo-y or, whatever word you want to use for her powers. And so it's, the paper, it helps for reasons. As I said, they have like confirmed it, like that's what it does. But now that we know that's 100% what's happening, I have so many questions like how, why paper? Could it be anything? Does it need to be like an A4 white piece of paper? Like, does it need to be in a certain book? Is the book magical? Could you draw pictures like on a wall? Like if you walked into someone's house and just started drawing on like their fridge or their door or the ground, on carpet, can you draw in blood? Does it have to be pencil? There are just so many different questions I have, and I have the strongest feeling we will get no more explanation beyond what we got this episode. I could definitely be wrong, and I hope I am, but there just feels like there's so much more to deal with in the last 5 episodes. They're kind of touching base with this thing again, and they just don't have time for it. And so whilst I love the fact that they have finally confirmed, revealed that Leanne is magic and uses paper to be magic, sometimes she just gets mad and bricks fall and the house collapses. But maybe her and the house are like this different kind of psychic link or something. I don't know. I've always felt like the metaphor is strong and I get that, but just generally like how that works, I'm just like, what? Why does she not need paper for that? If it's confirmed that she just needs to believe. Is it just like when she's super stressed, the house is like a part of her somehow? I don't know. I hope there's some kind of explanation there with her and the house. Maybe not. I don't know. At times, I feel like this show is more exciting when everything is vague and, mildly unexplained. Like, she's magic. Do I need to know more? Do I need to have her sit down and be like, I just think real hard with my brain and believe? Because to be honest, I loved at first when she's handing the paper and I'm like, oh yes, the magic paper. Cool. But then she's just like, all you do is believe. You just need to, like, believe real good. That's not that hard, to be honest. Like, just to believe, like, that's just super simple. Like, there's no blood sacrifice. There's no kind of, destroying a part of yourself to, use the magic to shape and create or destroy or, to, morph the very fabric of the universe and to, like, do things. Like, she commands birds. She makes bed bugs. She does weird shit. And all she does is just go, I just really hope all these pigeons attack these cult members. And they do? Tastes a little Disney. I don't know, a little kind of easy, like, you believe and all your wishes come true. But who cares? Whatever, I'm probably overreading it. It's cool that they've finally kind of dived into the magic and characters are actually saying, hey, this is weird and magical and clearly something's not right. Like, it blew my mind when Sean was just like, Leanne is like weird. She can like make stuff happen, like with her mind or something. And he's just like, he just says it. He's just like, it's magic and supernatural weirdness. We're at a weird show. This is weird. And then Julian, for some reason, even though he knows like the same information Sean does, he's like, what do you think she's some kind of Stephen King character? Yes, she's exactly like a Stephen King character, Julian. How have you not picked up on this? Whatever, he's having sex, he's in denial. I'll give him a pass. For now, I've always seen her abilities to be like uniquely for her, and that's what makes her so special. That's why they want her back so badly. Not just because she defected, but because like she's crazy, powerful magic. But with her handing out all the pieces of paper, I feel like it's implied that they can all like, you know, do the magic as well as her. And I could be misremembering the cult and all that stuff. I haven't rewatched that second season when we deep dive into that. I haven't seen that for a while. So maybe I'm just misremembering. And if I am, let me know in the comments. I'd like to know. But like, isn't she meant to be kind of the most kind of special? Or is everybody in the part of that cult like somehow magically special? Is that why they were chosen? Is that how they're a part of it? So can all of these people do the magic? I feel like if that's the case, it kind of makes her less special and kind of less interesting. She's just the only one that's kind of tapped into like their potential, which I guess is kind of interesting and exciting, but I kind of don't like the idea that they can all just write down on paper and draw something and then believe it and it comes true. But then I guess if she's leading a cult and they don't have like kind of the will or the want, or I guess the belief to do this, and then she leads them down that path, and I guess that's how the apocalypse that we saw in that vision, or the vision of the future of what have we got in that earlier episode, I guess that happens when all the cult members just start drawing everything and it just goes crazy. I don't know, it just seemed crazy to me that it was just like, yeah, just all these cult members are going to draw on a piece of paper and anything can happen now. I don't know. I'm curious what people think about that. I feel like I must be misremembering the cult and the cult's powers and all the people in the cult's powers, because if it isn't the fact that they're in the cult is why they can use this paper and believe and all that stuff, it's like, if it's not the cult thing, then is it just because they're people? Can anybody, could Sean draw something and then believe it and it comes true? And if that's the case, why isn't crazy stuff happening all over the place just all the time? Because if it could just be like anybody, like literally anybody, the amount of kids that are drawing like little versions of Spider-Man and being like, I wish it was true, I believe that it's true. And there'd just be like 100 million Spider-Mans and Batmans flying about and they'd all be like weird and janky and like kid drawing versions. And it would just be this nightmare universe of just things existing everywhere. I think the explanation that I would enjoy the most is the fact that they are like supporting Leanne. They believe in Leanne. So Leanne is able to kind of like, you know, give them a little bit of her juice, like she's able to kind of let some of her magical juice kind of, you know, flow off her and touch all the weird Hobo Park cult members. And so the fact that they believe in her and they follow her, they're able to, you know, use her juice, and they are kind of extensions of the paper and become conduits between Leanne and her magic and like the things happening. And so it's a way for her to kind of, you know, spread like a virus almost. And then she doesn't have to be as creative and everyone can just do stuff and it's just gonna happen. So I think that would be what I hope is what's happening. Okay, so I spent way too long discussing that. So let me briefly go through, like, the whole episode. I love seeing Sean and Dorothy team up together, and their plan is horribly intense, and they're just like, let's bring him in, let's bring the cult to our house. So they throw a big old party, a big celebration of the new neighbors, and we get some really funny scenes. My favorite part of the episode was probably just the interrogation montage of all the neighbors, just really funny. Special shout out to Sean's cake, just I love that even though this season is building up to something really intense and tense, crazy, horrible things are happening, we never lose sight of the fact that Sean's cooking and Sean's, like, you know, visual food in this series is one of the highlights. And this cake is no exception. Did it look glorious. I'm not really a big fan of cakes, like, you know, food eating wise, but visually I love and can appreciate a good looking cake. But this has got to be the best looking cake I've ever seen. It was their house. It was their house! The man is a food god, and I love him. You know what, I have very mixed / to negative feelings around a lot of these kind of cult members, and the scary way they like bow and like pray to Leanne, especially at the end with that big hole, and Leanne's like, ha, I destroy roads as well as houses now. Yes. But if Sean, the god of cooking, was like, I'm starting a cult, do you want to join? I wouldn't say no. I really enjoyed them turning off the power and then giving everyone these little colored strobe lights and kind of an excuse to give these big, bright, vibrant, kind of flamboyant colors. Felt very kind of old school 80s kind of horror vibe where there's just these big red colors everywhere. And it was just kind of really bold and colorful and just an exciting visual way to have this big Leanne getting kidnapped, but then she brings the house down. Not in the cool party way that you would hope for someone at a party to bring the house down. I'm showing my age. I know. And so she brings the house down. Not again. Why did I do it a second time? She's almost being kidnapped, but then like two giant cement things from the roof hit the people. They fall over, they collapse, and like everything's going crazy. And then the chandelier drops. That was the big moment because it's like this incredibly bold, threatening threats. And whilst I would be eternally disappointed and kind of hate the show if they had killed Sean like that, I love just that moment when it's happening where you're like, oh my god, like, is she gonna snap and will Sean be like the casualty? But I also love that it was just this big, bold, theatrical threat where the chandelier's like a centimeter from his face. It's just like, oh Jesus! And the chandelier's just there hanging. It was just a big, amazing visual. I also love that Julian for the whole part of this season has been completely on Leanne's side. But then at the end, as he's holding Jericho, there was just this chilling look on his face, this look of terror that we haven't really seen before from Julian in regards to Leanne. So he's probably going to be siding with everybody. And I imagine by the end of this season, when we kind of ramp up to the finale, it's going to be everybody versus Leanne. I find it super fascinating and kind of tragic and horrible that even though all this craziness is going on and Leanne knows that they've betrayed her fully and 100%, Dorothy's done a lot of really bad things, but this bringing the cult into the house, like a scheme with the cult, is kind of like the biggest, most dogsy thing they've done so far. And it's doubly tragic because it's not just Dorothy, but it's Sean as well. And so it's the double team up, the double betray. But even at the end of all of this, even after the big theatrical threat with the chandelier, Leanne still just wants to be a family. And it's gotten to the point where it's like, that is never going to happen. No matter what happens, that will never end up being an eventuality unless the show ends in this horrible, toxic family dynamic where they all stay together because that's the only way Jericho can be there. I can see that playing out in some way, but I kind of don't think that's how they're going to go about it. And so it is really, really sad that that's like what Leanne wants. Like, Leanne wants to be a family, but there's no way that's happening. So it's like, where's she going to go from here? Like, where is her character going to go when the only thing she's ever wanted is to have a family with them and Jericho? Now that is like off the table, even though she says at the end, what will it take? Nothing you can do will get you to that point. So where is she going to go from here? And I find that really exciting and interesting, but mostly terrifying. Mostly terrifying. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment below. I'd love to know what everyone thought of episode 5 of Servant.